This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Ease, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery. If you live in California and want to see if your local area is allowing for legal cannabis deliveries to be made, all you need to do is fire up ease.com to find out what your options are. They've baked all of the state's various rules and regulations for cannabis delivery right into their system, so you know you're always in compliance with California law when you use ease.com, which is spelled E-A-Z-E. And if you don't live in California or happen to be in a part of the state that hasn't yet come around on cannabis delivery, you can pop over to ease.com/blog for lots of smart industry data and analysis. That's ease.com to check out your cannabis delivery options, and ease.com/blog for various bits of information, knowledge, and wisdom. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Thursday, February 22nd, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 437 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story of the day brings us back to Ohio, where yesterday the state's chief auditor squashed the idea of delaying the licensing process for their nascent medical marijuana program. As we've reported on in recent days, Ohio's been mired in controversy surrounding the process by which it awarded business licenses for medical marijuana cultivators. Yesterday, Ohio Auditor David Yost replied by letter to State Commerce Director Jacqueline Williams, who had earlier offered up to Yost the idea of pausing the medical marijuana licensing process so that a number of problems could be addressed. In his letter sent yesterday, Yost was pretty clear about that prospect, saying, quote, "Unfortunately, the window to pause has probably closed," unquote. Yost went on to say, quote, "Weighing the multiple process flaws against the harms caused by pausing the program at this late date seemed to me to favor allowing the program to move forward and allowing the program flaws to be addressed through the administrative appeals process or other litigation," unquote. Progress is being made in Maine to craft an adult use sales legalization bill that would pass muster by Republicans led by obstructionist Governor Paul LePage, though the Portland Press Herald is reporting that a lot is being given up in that process. For one, the idea of legalizing social use venues has been tossed out the window entirely, with state lawmakers saying they're afraid to be the first state in the nation to allow social use, while also claiming that Maine voters didn't really want to allow for cannabis clubs when they voted in favor of legalizing adult use back in 2016. Lawmakers working on the plan also stripped language that would have opened up a revenue sharing of cannabis taxes to local communities that allow marijuana businesses to operate. In a move that's being loudly criticized by medical advocates in the state, the committee voted to merge both the adult use and medical programs under the governmental umbrella of the State Department of Administration and Financial Services. The committee will cast a final vote on the proposed measure on Friday, so I'm sure we'll be back with more on this storyline next week. Our final top story of the day keeps us up in the Northeast with news of a possible delay in the rollout of Massachusetts' new adult use program. Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission member Britt McBride recently told the editorial board of the North of Boston Media Group that a July 1st deadline for opening up adult use sales is only, quote, aspirational, and is subject to being pushed back with a simple majority vote of the 5-member commission. The commission is shooting to have their final draft of the rules and regulations for the industry ready by March 15th, but Commission Chair Steve Hoffman has said that they won't be rushing the actual opening date, and will make sure that all their technology systems and other operating procedures are in place and ready. This is a good one to open up for the full read. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Ease, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery. If staying on the right side of the Golden State's new cannabis laws are important to you, then Ease.com is a no-brainer. They're fairly obsessed with making sure that they and all their partner dispensaries are fully in compliance with all of California cannabis law, both state and local. The upside to that obsession is that they end up only working with top professionals in the industry. Their partner dispensaries sell top quality legal cannabis products at great prices. And when you order through ease.com, they bring those top quality legal cannabis products right to your door. What a world we live in. Whatever your motivations are, if you're in the Golden State and a cannabis consumer, do yourself a favor and explore your options at ease.com. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, ease.com/blog is a great place to visit to find lots of super smart industry analysis and insight. That's ease.com and ease.com/blog, with ease spelled E-A-Z-E. All right, time for the Blitz. The District Attorney of Alameda County, California, just released a press statement outlining plans her office is taking to better handle the overturning of past marijuana convictions for crimes that are no longer illegal. In addition to handling inbound petitions by individuals to scrub their criminal records, District Attorney Nancy O'Malley's office will also move to contact people eligible to have past marijuana convictions cleared. District Attorney O'Malley said in the press release, quote, California is offering a second chance to people convicted of cannabis crimes, from felonies to small infractions, with the opportunity to have their criminal records cleared. We join our state officials and intend to reverse decades of cannabis convictions that can be a barrier for people to gain meaningful employment. Unquote. Meanwhile, just a couple hours to the south of Alameda County is Fresno County, where they're handling things a little differently when it comes to restoring justice. There, the district attorney's office has said they have no plans at all to help people clear up their records. News station KFSN interviewed a local legal analyst who summed up the reasoning for the lack of action pretty well when he said, quote, there's no requirements that the DAs do that. It just depends on the area you're in. We in Fresno happen to be in a more conservative area. Unquote. As Canada works to implement nationwide adult use legalization, Canadian provinces have been busy signing supply agreements with any number of licensed medical marijuana companies. As we've reported on a number of times, those deals have tended to be on the larger side, with some provinces choosing to go with just one or two main suppliers. The Financial Post has a good story up about the province of Ontario and their sourcing approach, which looks positively on contracting with suppliers of all sizes. Earlier this week, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, or LCBO, hosted a meeting of the nation's licensed medical marijuana providers to distribute information about how they will go about sourcing cannabis for their line of province-owned dispensaries, set to open later this year. The LCBO said more information about their program will be forthcoming. Yesterday in Illinois, a state Senate committee voted to advance a proposed bill that would ask state voters what they thought about legalizing adult use marijuana in a non-binding statewide referendum. The bill has the support of Democrats in the State House and Senate, but is opposed by the GOP, so we'll keep a close eye on its progress, if it's able to make any. A Democratic state senator from California wants to suspend the licenses of any teenagers caught driving while having THC in their system, despite the fact that THC metabolites can stick around one's body after consumption for days, weeks, and even months. State Senator Jerry Hill's proposed bill would effectively make it illegal for anyone under the age of 21 to have THC in their system, slapping offenders with a suspended license after a positive drug test. The bill is opposed by the ACLU of California and anyone who has a solid understanding of the science of drug testing and driving. This is a bad solution in search of a problem that doesn't really exist. A similar effort in Vermont is underway, with the State House panel meeting yesterday to discuss the issue of the roadside drug testing of saliva of drivers thought to be high. Vermont lawmakers seem to have a better handle on some of the nuance of the issue, with proponents of allowing for roadside saliva testing saying that the tests would only be part of a body of evidence collected by police officers proving that a driver is operating unsafely under the influence. This is a good one to open up for the full read. And finally for today, Dan Adams over at the Boston Globe has a good piece up about Massachusetts and the idea of a state-run bank set up to handle legal marijuana business. Yesterday, Steve Hoffman, chairman of the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission, floated the idea in an interview of the state starting its own bank to get around federal laws that have so far depressed the ability of state legal marijuana businesses to get standard business banking accounts. State-run banks have also been pitched in California and are seen as a way to help state officials handle the mountain of cash collected by cannabis businesses, as well as a way to help those businesses themselves, who aren't particularly keen on having to keep so much money around. When asked about the idea, the office of Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker said it had no plans to do such a thing. Another good one to open up for the full dive in. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Ease, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in, starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.